warm welcome to All This Week by latestlaws.com. This is a weekly program, so hit the bell icon to get notification for new videos. My name is Sheetal June, Associate Editor, latestlaws.com, and I will be taking you through the significant orders and judgments passed by various courts in the country and some important international news from this week. Let's begin with Supreme Court this week. The Supreme Court has held that sufficiency of evidence is not a criteria for the purpose of holding public servant guilty of alleged misconduct in a matter of pertaining sexual harassment at workplace. The court, in its judgment, dealt with the question of evidentiary proof to be presented in a case of sexual harassment at workplace by a government official. The court stated that in case where a defense of false implication or ulterior motives is raised, the courts are obliged to conduct a thorough examination of any evidence to determine that the credibility of the allegation, ensuring that genuine claims are distinguished from baseless ones. The Supreme Court has opined that the definition of an aggrieved woman would not cover a person who belongs to the LGBTQIA umbrella. The Apex Court reviewed a petition filed for the amendment of the Gender Sensitization in Sexual Harassment Regulation of 2013 to extend protection to LGBTQIA+ individuals facing sexual harassment at workplace. The Supreme Court, in one of its judgment, has answered the question as to whether a conviction under Section 302 murder of IPC is tenable upon failure to establish a common objective of the unlawful assembly. The court, in its judgment, altered the conviction of an appellant from Section 302 IPC to 304 IPC, which also resulted in the reduced sentence. The decision was based on the court's observation that the prosecution has failed to prove beyond reasonable doubt the unlawful assembly had an intention to cause the death of the victim. The Supreme Court has warned the centre of stern action over appointment of judges, stating that selective picking and choosing has to end. A bench of Justice Sanjay Kishan Kaul and Justice Sudhanshu Dhulia has said that it is troublesome that the centre is selectively picking and choosing and appointing judges whose names were recommended by the Collegium for appointment to the higher judiciary. The Supreme Court has pulled up the Punjab Govt over stubble burning. It has observed that there cannot be a political battle at all the time. The court directed Punjab, Delhi, Uttar Pradesh and Rajasthan to stop stubble burning, forthwith making Chief Secretaries and Directors General of the Police responsible for overseeing the implementation of the court order. The Supreme Court has expedited the disposal of criminal cases against the members of legislative assemblies and parliament, directing the high courts across the country to register cases on their own motion, to monitor such trials and prioritize those cases which entail death sentences or life imprisonment as maximum punishment. Now let's have an overview of high courts. The Bombay High Court has set aside a decision by the Sessions Court that allowed an ink age test in a cheque dishonour case. Justice Anil N. Bansare of the Nagpur bench, while hearing a writ petition challenging the Session Court order, emphasized that there is no scientific method available to accurately determine the age of ink in a document. The Calcutta High Court has held that parties' intention to incorporate the arbitration clause is evident in their contractual agreement, thereby binding them to arbitration for the dispute resolution. The Andhra Pradesh High Court has allowed a petition seeking transfer of divorce case, stating that convenience of wife must be considered over inconvenience of husband. The court, in a petition filed for transfer of a divorce case from one district court to another, has held that in matrimonial proceedings, the convenience of the wife has to be considered than the inconvenience of husband, and when the husband filed petition seeking for divorce. The Delhi High Court has sought the stand of the centre and city government on the public interest litigation, seeking a direction to the authorities to use the proper meaning of the term religion and not use it as a synonym of dharma in official documents. The Karnataka High Court has reiterated that in a suit for specific performance, a plaintiff must prove willingness to perform contract all throughout the suit. The High Court in this case observed that in a suit for specific performance, the plaintiff has to prove that all along and till the final decision of the suit, he was ready and willing to perform his part of the contract. The Bombay High Court has held that merely stating a defect in EVM is not sufficient to conclude that the result of the election was vitiated. The court dismissed a petition upholding the election of the respondent as Sarpanch, as it found insufficient evidence to support the petitioner's claim that the result of the election was materially affected by the defect in the electronic voting machine. Moving on to international news this week. A Sri Lankan court has extended the judicial remand of 22 Rameswaram fishermen. The court released 4 Mandapan fishermen who were detained by the Sri Lankan Navy on October 14th on charges of poaching in the country's territorial water. A court in Australia has ordered India's ex-High Commissioner to Canberra, Navdeep Singh Suri, to pay a former domestic employee thousands of dollars in compensation after she accused him of unfair working conditions, according to Australian media reports. In the end, we have miscellaneous news. The centre has issued blocking orders against 22 illegal betting platforms, including Mahadev app and others, on request of the Enforcement Directorate. Thank you for watching and have a nice day. This is a weekly program, and to get more information, please check the description box, and for weekly updates, like and subscribe to our channel.